Hello and welcome in the great outdoors. Brilliant. About time too. Right, there's a gales forecast for tomorrow, so you're not getting too excited just yet. Right, usual bit of housekeeping. If you've tuned in to just look at the film, then jump forward 15-20 minutes and it's waiting there for you. Otherwise you could stay with us, looking into the comments and be entertained and educated, hopefully. Right, let's see what we've got. The first film we're looking at is one of two. The first one we're looking at was the walk along the River Thames from Buscott to Kelmscott. Something like that, isn't it? Excuse me. Malcolm Richardson was impressed because he said it's a beautiful, tranquil stretch of Upper Thames and unsurprisingly a haven for rivercraft. Yeah, beautiful place, wouldn't it? West Country Wanderings then, our Paul. Thank you for another Friday vlog, he says. I went to Buscott a few years ago before I started my channel, so I think I'm due a revisit. God, we found somewhere Paul hasn't been. Oh, amazing. Well, not with a camera. Marilyn. Let's see what's happening to the travels of Marilyn, our virtual elder sister for the Parkinson's Walks virtual family. Good morning, she said, and head gardener Pauline. Yeah. You're far in advance of Cheshire. We're looking at the flowers and things that are coming out in the garden this time of year. And she said it's a lovely, peaceful, calming walk along the Upper Thames for Friday morning while I prepare myself for a shopping delivery. You know how to live the high life. Well done, Marilyn. She says, because Marilyn's always out and about. Amazing, amazing really. I wish she'd slow down a bit sometimes. I seem to have spooked the trains just lately, she says. I thought I would take a nice easy trip to Buxton yesterday and was sitting happily on platform 0 at Stockport with a nice latte when all went quiet and all trains stopped. Then came the fateful words, delay. Oh dear. And we were told that there had been a bridge strike between here and Manchester. Oh boy. I got to Buxton and back through the lovely scenery, but I'm staying home this weekend. Don't blame me, Marilyn. This is 2 weeks ago, of course. I think I'll just go and sit in my daughter's garden. I'm booked to go to Ludlow next week, so I'm hoping that goes according to plan. Stay safe, everyone, she says. That's not a salutation, that's an instruction. Marilyn says, take care, you take care. Michael from Poland says, interesting matters arising. Yeah, we do like our matters arising, don't we? It's lovely to hear from all the usual suspects from all over the world. Congratulations to your head gardener. That's Pauline stepping forward again then. She has produced a most beautiful garden full of interesting flowers and plants. And Michael says, what's your job? Under gardener, question mark? No, dog's body, Michael. It's about as far as I can get. And Michael did enjoy the Thames walk, very enjoyable. Unfortunately, he says, you forgot that some of us gentlemen of a certain age cannot listen to the sound of running water. Oh dear, yes, I do keep forgetting that. That's true. And Michael says there's no move on the bike front yet. And Magda, his lovely wife, has suggested that it's time they all got themselves some bikes. A half kick, I think it is, but Michael's kind of keeping quiet and hoping that that thought goes away. Good old Michael. Charles Patterson from the US of A. The garden looks marvellous. I figure, there's Trev up there. The minute you come out here, there hadn't been many planes around this morning. The minute you come out, Trev jumps his aeroplane and becomes a nuisance. Right, Charles again then. I figure you're a few weeks ahead of us in New Jersey, as the tulips and daffodils started blooming about 2 weeks ago and the forsythia just started opening last week. Well, there you are, USA's horticulturally speaking, 2 weeks behind. Interesting, interesting info that. Charles, thanks for that. David from Spain. I always think of the Thames as London, so it's lovely to see it further upstream. Trust James to pick up on that bag for sale. Yes, that was the previous Parkbury Church one where, of course, you can't hold James back, can you? So he picked up on a bag of poo. I guess it was manure, David says. Maybe we could club together and send him a bag. Now there's a good idea. Lovely. Oh dear. Today's the first day of the Easter break for me. Your ear's working, so I'm heading off up the mountains. Hopefully the rain will keep off. Yeah, I don't know if you're following David's series of films. If you go to a comment by David and click on his avatar, you'll get taken to David's site. And he's sending out some films of walks in the area. Chalk and cheese to what we've got over here. It's rugged, rocky, wonderful. There was scrub all around, some lovely views, and it's nice to compare the two. Duncan, you enjoyed the walk. Oh, to be in England now that April's here. Ah, yeah. Right, the film. Last week's film. So I have to work the weeks out. The old Parkinson's doesn't help in that respect. Philip Pankhurst. An excellent study of a delightful railway which never gets the headlines it deserves. They have made steady, almost silent progress over many years, doing things carefully and doing things the right way. Oh, there you are. It's a beautiful railway, the Dean Forest. And he says he just quietly get on with it. And we've got another film this week, the Dean Forest. No, we've got it next week. Not even close. Right, Michael then on the film. That loco's a year younger than me, built in Swindon in 1949. Wow, incredible work has been done to restore all the buildings and infrastructure, hasn't it just? Yeah, it certainly has. That factory at Whitecross Station, Google tells me it used to employ 350 people making safety pins and other related products for 50 years. It was then used to make latex and polystyrene. Well, thanks for that. When you see these old buildings and you can't work out what's been going on there for all those years, it's nice to have the information, isn't it? See it in a different light. Yeah. And here's Charles again from the US of A. He enjoys the British Heritage Railways that travel to several stations down the line as opposed to back and forth between two close points. It gives the railroad a real feeling of purpose. That's what happens in the US of A then, is it, Charles? You generally just go backwards and forwards between two stations rather than done on a route. Interesting, interesting. Lionel and Mary travels. Lionel. A lovely view from the train, he says, followed by an examination of every moving part you could find. Moving and not moving, Lionel. Every pulley wheel, points, rodding, signal operated wires, plus the crossing gates mechanism. Every essential part to the railways, the heritage railways. Lovely. Yeah, thanks you, Lionel. I haven't seen any of your productions lately. I hope everyone's keeping an eye on Lionel's Lionel and Mary travel, just to see what's popping up out the woodwork. Trev. He's still hanging about, isn't he? This bit's about you, Trev. Yes. Oh boy. He says, thank you for today's video. The Dean Forest Railway has been local to me for many years, and I did volunteer for them for a while before moving on to volunteer at the Pontypool and Bernavon Railway. Another heritage railway for you to visit there. Go and see our Trev and ask him if he wouldn't mind going and flying his aeroplane somewhere else. Trev then goes on to describe the history of the Forest Dean line. There's so much information on there. You might think you know all about it. Go and have a look at Trev's comment and you find you didn't know anything really. It's an amazing amount of information he's put on there, absolutely amazing. Well done, Trev. Engage on a shower pass. Simon is progressing well with his Engage rail layout. He said it's a fair bit longer than the last time I rode the train there. I think it was the Santa Express. Wow, a good 23 years ago. Oh my word, 23 years ago. And I didn't get a present, he says. They gave it to the kids. Well, we reckon that's not fair. I mean, Simon went to all the trouble to organise the trip, take everybody down there, pay for it all, and he didn't get a present. Oh well, he said, I've got another thing to do on my to-do list. Yeah, well done, Simon. Jim Nichols said he would have popped over, but he's just getting his private jet service. Oh well, you've got to do these things, haven't you, really, Jim? Very true. That old wagon at Whitecroft seems to be in the same age as me, he says. All right, from the 1940s. I'm not sure which of us is the most decrepit. Good old Jim. Oh dear, oh dear. David from Spain. After watching so many of your films, and Paul's too, that'd be Paul from West Country Wanderings, I feel I'm starting to know the forest, though I've never been there. Ah, yes. It take a long time to learn the whole forest, David. It's quite large. You picked all the kind of details that I enjoy, such as the signal cables and rods. But the piece de resistance, for me anyway, was seeing the water tower in action. Yeah, still working after all these years. Akin to seeing a dredger or an abandoned turntable. David has a thing about dredgers or turntables. Now he says the Easter processions are in full swing down here, glorious Spain. We will be off to the centre of town for one at 3 p.m. I'll drop Naraya off nearby and then park up as near as possible. Unfortunately, my route passes 2 aquas, 3 water mills, a steam engine, plus a small square dedicated to Joe Summer from the punk rock band The Clash. I never seem to make it on time, he says. You'll be getting both barrels, I expect, once you get there, David. Oh well. Here's Paul from West Country Wanderings. Always good to be back on the Dean Forest Railway. His big sisters, the Gloucester Warwickshire Steam Railway and the Severn Valley Railway, may have more locos and length and drama, but the Dean Forest Railway has heaps of charm. I think we all agree with that. Definitely. Right, one more to go, and it's Marilyn bringing up the clothes here. She said, how lovely to be taken back to Parkend and Whitecroft. Good, glad you enjoyed it. We watched them both re-emerge into reality, although Barry, is that your other half on there, Marilyn? Barry said he did a rail tour all the way to Colford once. Of course, yeah, it was all laid down as rails. So you go down there now and it's hard to picture these rails everywhere and engines puffing up and down, chuntering up and down, amazing. And Marilyn said, I often wonder what it feels like in those cottages only a few inches away when the pannier tank goes past. Yeah, I bet they're told they've got to go at a certain speed so they don't cause too many vibrations, shake the tiles off the roof. Wouldn't go down very well. I had a lovely trip to Ludlow this week to meet up with my cousins and managed to get a Transport for Wales first class train each way. Oh boy, yeah, first class travel. Well, I mean, she's our elder sister. I don't see why she shouldn't go first class everywhere, really. On the way back, the doctor phoned. That's never good. Oh dear. They told me to present myself early next morning for an iron infusion. She said, well, I thought it was supposed to make me feel better, but my daughter said I looked as white as if I'd seen 3 ghosts. Oh dear. So I've not done much except watch a lot of YouTube. So I hope the rest of the worldwide family is faring better, and it's goodbye from the much elder sis. Isn't that lovely? Thank you, Marilyn. Wonderful. Right. Now the archive film up in just a few seconds. It's railway again. The Cheltenham to Andoverford railway. Go and see what we can dig out. You wouldn't expect to find anything, would you really? Because it's all housing there now, and you know what builders are like. Anyway, we're going to see what we can route out. And then next week, Dean Forest Railway 2. So the next section you'll see what we can see. I think Lydney down to the junction, I think, from memory. Anyway, we'll see. So I'll see you down at the Dean Forest Railway next week. Don't be late. Lansdowne Station in Cheltenham again. Surrounded by history. There's the old Midland Railway Hotel. But this is a bit of history that we're interested in today. Here's the main line that still exists today, still operates, which comes from Birmingham, goes to Gloucester, Bristol or Swindon. This is the railway that we've looked at before, because this is the old abandoned railway that went up north there to Honeybourne and Stratford-on-Avon, and that's where the Gloucester-Warwickshire Heritage Railway, I've got a section of that which are operating. But this is the bit that we're interested in, because the rail did actually go south a little way, then curved around and headed into the hills, up into the Cotswolds, went through Andoverford, then it branched out again and went to Stone-on-the-Wold and Kingham, where it joined another main line. But this was the main part. This is the Midland South West Junction Railway, and it headed south, went through Swindon and ended up in Southampton. That was so that the merchants up in the Midlands could get their goods down to the south coast ports and out to the big wide world. See what we can see. This map, which was revised in 1990, so if you know me in my terms that's practically brand new, starts off here at Lansdowne Station, and it does actually show the line of our railway though, as it curves around, and it kind of suggests that there might be some bits left over. Now of course you and I know the cost of land in Cheltenham, and that's prime building land I would think, and so will there be anything there? Well, there's only one way to find out. By popping through here again, and this time looking right, that's the alignment of our railway. So that's the station over there, and our line ran over this side, the other side of the modern building. So it would have passed through the left-hand arch. See, the modern rails use the right-hand arch, and our line used the left-hand arch. Now we'll go to the bridge, see if what we can see. So, Lansdowne Road Bridge. That's looking back towards the station, and then looking over the other side, there's the actual pedestrian bridge, look, wonderful. And it's still got the smoke deflectors on it. From the days of steam, marvellous. Wonderful. And then there you see where those rails turn out on the left. I reckon that's where our branch line set out. There's actually a footbridge down there, look. I wonder if that's still accessible. Will give us a good vantage point. Here you can see the end of the pedestrian bridge, so this wall is probably part of the old platform, along with all the rubbish. We'll turn off down the leafy suburb, heading for the railway. Here's a road leading to allotments. I wonder if that was the railway. Well, on the allotments, look, there's some very, very large stones there, off the top of a wall, I would think. Well, it certainly doesn't align to the other side of the road, does it? So I think that's a no-no. Well, we've walked past the footbridge. I didn't see any sign for it. So whether that's been extinguished or not, I don't know. Having wandered up and down a bit, found it. Bollard Path. Brings us to here. Footpath over the main line. So our purpose of the bridge then is to enable us to look back at where the line left the main line, or left this area, and I reckon it's got to be just about where that train is now. Well, doesn't get us any nearer our objective, does it really? It's starting to feel like it's a lost cause. The map is putting the railway line here, and that works out because it's where the new houses there, look, are built, and that's where the old houses ended. So the old houses would have been line side, and the new houses have been built on the track bed. Not much to see then. Time for another squint at the map, I reckon. And this area looks interesting. Looks possible. Don't know what we'll see on the ground. Let's have a look. We're driving along the road here then, and now the railway is behind the houses on your left. You can just about make out the embankment behind the houses here. Road's rising here, so I guess we're going to go from an embankment to a cutting or level. From the other side, this is the school playing field. You can make out the line of the hedge, which is the line of the track. They don't want us in there. Well, that wasn't very enlightening. But if we take a very close look here, if we can find this area just over there, it looks like there's a footpath that actually crosses the line of the railway. Now if we're going to find anything or see anything, that'll be the place to go. This looks hopeful. Kind of. An embankment, looking promising. And some kind of access. Some old bricks here, look, set into the pathway. The embankment is to our right, there, and here, look, this is what we're looking for. Fence post. It's got railway plain wire on it, look. Standing right there, I don't know if you can see it, is another fence post, sleeper post. That is about the extent of what you're going to see on this railway as it stands today, I think. Apart from that, look, proof we're needed. Again, it's the plain wire. Railway fencing is often thought of as a means of keeping people off the railway, but it was actually begun by the landed gentry when a railway crossed their land to keep the riffraff on the railway from trespassing on their land. Complete the reverse. So this is our long lost and hidden railway, right in the middle of Cheltenham. Absolutely amazing, isn't it, to think trains once rolled through here on a regular basis. These things, even though they were very commercial, they can sometimes be a bit hard to find. Sometimes you can get lucky and find what's obviously a railway bridge. And if we have a look over, we'll do the same on the other side. The row is gone missing, built over. Then popping through a corridor out to the road, following the alignment, there you have it. It just totally disappears. Possibly the only remaining feature of anything at all. The boat. Quite likely a stay for a telegraph pole. And that, folks, is your lot. On the other hand, there are one or two bridges. And this one's in Leckhampton, where things look promising. Where fortunately it's quite a narrow cutting. That's too deep to build in. That's a nice touch. Goes on that way. And where for once you would say the graffitists done a pretty good job. So this way then provides a green path back into Cheltenham along the old rail line, where it ends in another bridge. Very deep cutting. And then on that side, industrial park of some sort. A lovely old stone pillar. Brilliant. Returning back up the track bed. Back to the original bridge, which you'd have to say is in very, very good condition. And as you can see ahead of us, the track has been filled in somewhat as far as it goes. Pilley Bridge then. That's the bit we're interested in. Pause the video for a read. Looking back and looking forward. And the path does in fact continue. For how long or how far, I have no idea. If you fancy a look, get yourself down here to Leckhampton. In fact, the boardwalk ends there, and it does start to look somewhat impenetrable. So I would say, guys, this is the end of the line, as it were. Bad pun. Okay, I think we'll call that a day then on this one. If you enjoyed that, then just go to my channel, click on videos. There's an awful lot more there waiting for you. And meanwhile, if you could click on like or share, that would certainly help the channel. Thank you very much.